We are live. Ooh,
We
look at
are
that.
live. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everyone. Wow, I wonder if I'm super loud today. Oh well, hopefully someone's watching who can tell us if we are or we are not. But anyway, oops, let's make sure that's, uh, let's go here. Oh no, hold on. Studio, blah, blah, blah,
Blah, blah, blah, blah.
create. Go live. That's what we want. Let's see if it goes live. Yep, we're going to go there. We're going to go there. And we are done. Yes, we're up and running. How are we, brother?
I'm good. Yourself?
Ah, nice and
How,
rested.
how have you been and what have you been up to?
Well, I did take a little bit of a holiday. The wife, Gabe and I, we went to Fiji for
Oh,
7 days, 6 nights, 7 days.
Was it fairly warm over there or?
Uh, Actually, it was just right. I felt like it wasn't stupid hot and it wasn't stupid cold. It was about most days between 27 to 29. One day, I
Yep.
think we had an afternoon where it kind of consistently rained. Nothing like where it was, I wouldn't say heavy, but it was like thick rain. And some people might go, "What do you mean thick rain? Like rain's rain, isn't it?" No, no, but like really big droplets. I
Yep.
found like in tropical climates, you find like the rain's thick because it's just
Yeah.
like these really big droplets of water.
And
So,
they it sort of downpours for about like 5, 10 minutes and it just goes away and the sun's shining again.
well, that was the thing. We had one afternoon where that didn't happen. Every other time, yeah, you're right. It was either overcast or it's beautiful and sunny. But most of the time it was sunny. So, but yes, I did make a discovery on this holiday though. I always joke about retiring and sipping pina coladas on a beach. I discovered I quite like pina coladas.
Yeah, they're not bad. Like, I don't want them either.
Like like in hot weather, they're actually quite refreshing because they're not stupidly sweet. I think they've got coconut or something in them, but they're
Yeah, they
not.
do. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they've got the pineapple as well, don't they? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So they're not overly sweet, and I'm like, geez, if I was childless here, this would not end well at all.
Well, it's quite easy to be childless in Fiji, isn't it? Because a lot of kids clubs and a lot of
Yeah, if you've got a son who wants to go to them, he was a bit wary when we first got there, but after a couple of sort of, we dropped him off twice, and the Fijian ladies are amazing. Let me just be clear here. They are absolutely. Oh, what have I done here? Come on, view, and we go full screen. There we go. They're amazing. Like he tried to the first couple of times, first two times we dropped him off. He was like, "No, I don't want to stay." Oh, all I think just a bit, a bit wary. Like, oh, new country, I've never travelled before. Where are mum and dad going? And we're like, dude, we're just gonna be around the corner. Relax. And the lady's like, "Come here, you come with me, darling. Come on, take him away." No, just no. Oh, would you like to stay? Like in Australia. Oh, would you like to stay and calm him down? No, they're like, no, no, no. Off you go, mum and dad. Off you go. That was their response, and I'm like, I like it. I like these ladies. So off we went, and yeah, we spent quite a bit of time. We did, like here only, and then once he made a couple of friends after a day or two, and they were going to kids club, then he was like quite happy to
yep.
go and spend an afternoon there. And the point of the holiday wasn't to get, like just get rid of him at a kids club. I mean, that's not.
So whereabouts did you stay in Fiji?
We stayed at a place called the Outrigger, which
Yep.
is about an hour and a half from Nadi.
Yeah, I think it's on the Coral Coast there. I think my wife's actually stayed there. She loved it there actually.
Can I?
I haven't been there. When we went there, we went to Dinneroo. Visited.
Okay, okay. Let me tell you, mate. With your girls, they would love it. Absolutely love it. It is. It's not the most expensive resort.
Yep.
It's like that middle of the range, but it was really good. I was really impressed. And like we stayed like we were gonna get the bill in the end, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna hurt because like I'm having like at least about I reckon at least 5 or 6 pina coladas a day, and you
But
know
they're actually like cheaper. I think it's cheaper to get the cocktails than it is to buy like an Australian beer over there.
yeah, I think it is. So anyway, but no, we got the bill at the end, and it was about 1,600 bucks, and that included we had a couple of trips. Like they had like a sort of general store thing where we went. Oh, Gabe bought like a souvenir from there and all that. And I was surprised actually in the hotel they weren't any more expensive because we did go one day down the street. They weren't any more expensive down the street
Yeah,
or cheaper down the street for the souvenirs than they were in the hotel, which kind of surprised me a little bit because
yeah.
I know when I was in Thailand that 100% wasn't the case. Like you went to the markets and you could definitely buy cheaper. But yeah, I really loved Fiji. Like my wife and I are already talking about going back next year around August, which
Oh,
that's
nice.
apparently the nicer weather. Like it's really warm.
And it's always good to escape the coldness here and to go somewhere a bit warm.
Definitely, definitely. And yeah, no, it was great. We look, as with any kid, gave it a couple of moments. But once we kind of figured it out, and we all, I think, by the end had wound down.
Yeah,
And I think by the time and that was the one thing, it was, I said to Amelia, I probably wouldn't stay more than maybe 10 days, maybe 10 days at most. Because after that, I think you'd start getting I'm a bit bored.
yeah.
Like,
So
I want to just leave.
did you do any experiences over there or?
Nah, we didn't. Like, Gabe went and paddle boarded, and
Yeah,
like next time, that's maybe the other thing I would do is I would. I think I'm going to give myself the goal by next year to probably drop a good couple, maybe 10, 15 kg, and I'd love to take Gabe scuba diving,
yeah,
or at the very least be able to, comfortably snorkel with him.
yeah.
So I mean, we played around the pool a bit and stuff like that, and
And because
yeah,
it's on the Coral Coast, and so you can go straight out from the water there and into the
yeah,
coral. Yeah,
yeah. And the great place about that place is Gabe was like, "Oh, I want to ride a horse."
on
That
the
was a
on the beach.
that was a
On the beach,
moment.
you can.
Yeah, yeah, that was a bit of a moment. I'm like, are you gonna stay on that? And like I said, they are so good. The old guy who had the horse, he's like, it's all right. Come on, we'll be right. And he's taking him along, and Gabe's like, oh, I don't know about it. And then after a while, it was like, oh, this is all right. But he kind of did it, and then went, okay, you want to do it again? He's like, nah, I've done it, Dad. It's off my list.
Yeah,
So we'll probably do a bit more in Melbourne. My dad wants to take him. My parents have got this thing about wanting. My dad loved to. I never knew when I was growing up. I found out years and years after. Was he in year 10? And that was it year 10. Yeah, yeah, it was year 10. A horse riding camp came up at school, and back in those days, it was like we're talking 90s here. I think it was about $300, $350 to go
yeah.
for a week. And I thought,
Oh man.
this is like massively expensive. Like I thought, nah, Mum and Dad won't go for this. And I brought it home, and Dad goes, oh, what's this? And I said, oh, it's horse riding camp. I said, look, I get it. I said, look, it's $350. I don't expect to go. He goes, oh, you want to go? And I'm like, yeah. I said, sounds cool. I said, I've never ridden a horse before, but. And years later, Dad said, oh, I loved horses. He said, when I grew up, I used to remember as a kid, ride them bareback. My dad would send me to go and graze the cows in the field, and find a couple of wild horses, and I'd jump on their back and ride them bareback at breakneck speeds, and how I didn't kill myself is beyond me, and like it was the first time my dad genuinely surprised me. I was like, okay, that is something I would never have thought I'd hear. I said, okay, well that makes sense why in year 10 you let me go horse riding. He goes, yeah, because I want you to. Because I loved it, and I thought, oh, you probably enjoy it, so. But enough about my holidays. What about you, brother? You been doing much? Or you just
No,
been
not
working?
really. Just been working. Yeah, just doing a bit of Christmas shopping.
Ah, very good. You
Yeah.
started early.
Started early. Just yeah, just to get it See what we're
Out
in
of the
for.
way.
Yep. I don't want to speak too loudly.
Nah,
Might
nah,
be some little ears listening.
yeah, of course there is. There's always that.
You think
No,
Christmas?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm not on loudspeaker, am I?
No, no, you're not.
I'm not. Well, we did. It's funny. Gabe's at that age now where he just one day turned around. Oh, probably maybe 2 months ago, and said, "Santa real?" I said, "Of course he is." He kind of figured out the Santa riddle, so yeah, I was like, fair enough, you know. It's like, and Amelia's like, I thought I'd have a bit longer, and I'm like, oh, look, he's 9. You've probably done pretty well. So you would have been pushing it to push it out till next year.
Yep.
I said, but so I said, well, now you know the secret, mate. You're not allowed to share it with anyone who doesn't know the secret. I said, because I'll be really cross with you if you do. And he said, and I said, and B, now you know where they all come from. You need to behave yourself
Yeah.
because it ain't him who's you've got to keep happy. And he's like, got it, Dad. so, yeah, he got a. Look, I probably can't say it's going to be a Christmas present, but we did buy an iPad because he needs one for school next year. I
Yeah.
don't know about your girls. Are they? How old are they? Are they in year grade
Uh,
5 or 6 yet?
nah, Avid's, what's she in? She's 9 this year, so she's in grade 3, so she's in grade 4 next year. But she just got a new iPad. When did she get a new iPad? Might have been last year. Yeah, for her birthday last year. So it's
Okay.
not too bad yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she had an older one before that, and it was getting a bit slow.
Yeah, Gabe's got Amelia's like old iPad Air 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting on, just mucking up, and he showed his mum. He said, "Look, mum." I'm like, "Okay, well, I've got to buy him one." And I spoke. I lost a very expensive rock off. Let me tell you, because he said, it was like, I think it's like $200 difference between 9th gen and 10th gen. And I said, "Oh, well, mate, you want 10th?" And he goes, "Oh, Dad, can't. I want the latest one." And I'm like, "Okay, mate, rock off." First one was a draw. We both did scissors. I thought, I'll do scissors again. He'll probably do paper or whatever. No, he's like 10 moves ahead of me. I knew you were going to do that, Dad. And he explained exactly his logic about why I was going to do scissors a second time. I said, "Come on, mate, best out of 3." And he goes, "I don't think so. Lose up." Walked off. And I'm like, in the middle of the shopping centre. I'm like, "Oh, well." And I'm like, "Okay, I bet you if you'd lost it would have been best out of 3." He goes, "But I didn't, Dad. But I didn't." And I'm like, it's a bit hard to argue that one. So he ended up getting the 10th gen one, and that was fun.
Yep.
I didn't care. Like, it's for school. He'll have it now for probably at least 4 or 5 years at least.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I like about iPads. They tend to be pretty. Unless he bloody drops it and breaks it, and if he does that, well, that's out of his bloody uni fund. But yeah. But first topic I wanted to talk about, mate, was as we know, Intel released their CPUs.
Yes.
AMD did theirs, and now we've had quite a bit of benchmarking, and the only difference being, at the moment, it's cheaper to do the. Who would have thought this about 2 years ago? These words would be coming out of my mouth. Intel is cheaper.
Yep.
Um,
And
what,
have you noticed it more cheaper with the Click Frenzy this week, or?
yeah, there's been a couple. Like a couple of 13s, 12th gen. I've noticed a lot of 12th gen stuff is really cheap. Like, it's gotten like really decent pricing.
Yep.
But there is, and I don't know whether there's enough of a difference between 12th and 13th gen for anyone to actually notice it. You know what I mean? Like, to actually know,
Yeah.
like, if you're just gaming, you're probably, or if even if you're doing a bit of streaming like we do, I don't think anyone's going to notice the difference. To be honest, that was my guess. So if anyone's out there, I'd consider going 12 gen. But at the moment, I mean, it's actually really hard. You can do 12th gen, or you can go Zen 4. Have you seen some of the prices on AMD CPUs? I think I've sent you a couple of links, like 5700 Gs.
Yep. I think a 5700X here at Shopping Express for 335.
1 second. I am sure
You can beat that.
I can beats that. Let me do that. There. And we put there. 5700 G. Yep. Yes, I can. I'll just put that over our lovely faces. There you go. $311, my friend.
Where's that at?
Amazon.com.au. Out of the AU store. So anyone out there who's looking for, especially if you've got like a, I don't know, 2600, like a 2000 series chip, like your B450, the mortar one you've got,
Yep.
that will you just, before you take out your CPU, update the BIOS to the latest BIOS, and then you just slot this sucker in, mate, and then suddenly you've got 8 cores, 16 threads, you can stream, you can do everything, and it's got integrated graphics. You can buy for a little bit more. I think the 5700X is a little bit more. Yeah, it's 335. But I don't know why you would. Like the only thing is I think you get, if I'm not mistaken, you get a little bit more L3 cache. No, that's 5600X. I think it's, you get 36 megabytes of cache, and you get slightly faster clocks versus the G, which only has 20 megabits of cache, and yeah, it's like 100 megahertz instead of 4.6. It's instead of 4.7, it's 4.6.
Yep.
Gigahertz. And mate, I would, just from a perspective of if you've got issues with your graphics card or whatever, and having that onboard graphics, I think is just a lifesaver, because you can just test and just say, okay, does my system boot? Oh, it boots. Okay, so well, I've taken the graphics card out. I've bypassed that. It's booting up okay. Well, obviously it's got something to do with the graphics card.
Yep.
And then you sort of give it, off you go, sort of thing. Then you try moving it, and I mean, there's you can do a whole bunch of diagnosis then. Look, for gaming, it's obviously going to be a little bit slower than the 5700X. The 5800 X3D is still pretty expensive for what it is. Like, it's still one of the fastest gaming chips out there, but I don't think anyone, let's say they're coming from a 2600 or a 2700X or something like that and go to that 5700G, they'll notice a big enough difference that it's just like, oh yeah, that's a good chip. But yeah, at the moment, it's a great time to be building a PC. Lots of PC components cheap, especially if you're happy to go, slightly older to say a 12th gen or a Zen 4 processor. I mean, I think I saw 3600s for around 3600 chip from AMD, Ryzen 5 3600 for $150, brand new. I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think, and that was. Here we go. Where was that? AMD Ryzen 5 3600. Where was it? Yeah, that's the one. Shopping. Yeah, Centacom, 150. Yeah, $159. Amazon's got them slightly cheaper. Look, $148.90. And to be quite honest, I'd pay my extra. Oh wow, actually that's $11 cheaper. Wow, PC Byte AU has got them for $139. 3600 chip, man, like that. will still game on a decent graphics card. Pair it up with like a 6600 or 6700 XT, you got yourself a pretty kick-ass 1080p gaming PC, and it probably even do pretty good 1440p.
Yeah.
You know, sort of your 2K resolution. So, but yeah, and I mean, the next, speaking of gaming and graphics, I guess the next big announcement that came out was AMD dropped their graphics cards. Have you sort of read up anything on them or seen
No,
any
I
videos?
haven't. Not at the moment. No.
Nvidia's in trouble. They, the stuff that AMD's bringing out will not compete with 4090. I will be extremely shocked if it does. It's $600 to $700 cheaper.
Oh wow.
So I think US prices for the 69 for the 4090 is around anywhere from like 1699 through to $2,000. The MSRP from AMD for the 7900 XT is going to be $899, and for this 7900 XTX, which is going to be their flagship card, it's only $100 more.
Wow.
For I think
You're
it's going to
looking
be
at
$999.
$1,000.
1000 USD. So I think here they'll land at about $1,800 and $2,000 respectively.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Because the
that's
Australian
gonna,
dollar's looking that bad at the moment.
yeah, unfortunately it is. And that is gonna hurt Nvidia because those 4090s are gonna start sitting there. And you can easily go buy 4090 today if you want to, if you got the cash. Just I don't think there's not one, like, you might not be able to get every specific card, but you can get a 4090 depending on the store. Will depend on what they've got in stock. I mean, let's go and I did not close that, good man. So let's just go BPC Tech, which at the moment is one of my favoured stores for graphics cards because they seem to always have really good deals on them. So graphics cards, and they have a very good sorting site. 4090, let's go price. Yep. So I'll bring this over here again. So if you take a look, they've got a colourful for just under $3,000 in stock. The Gigabyte OC in stock. Vulcan, which this is a really nice card. It's actually got a little LCD screen on it. $3,500. That's in stock. Yeah. So there's 3 cards alone, like, that are just, they're in stock. They're there. If you've got the money, you can walk in, you can either buy them online or just walk into the store and say, I want to buy that card. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, our friends at Centacom are in the same boat. Let's have a look very quickly. Computer parts, graphics cards, NVIDIA. And their sorting's not quite... graphics card, memory interface. Ooh! They've improved their website, Centacom. You can now actually pick the GPU, graphics processing unit, which is a 4090, and let's go load high. And once again, here we go. Yeah, the cheaper cards aren't in, like the TUF and the Windows C, but they've got the Gigabyte OC. They've got the, looks like do they have that in stock? Yep. So they've got some online stock for the 4090 Gaming X Trio. Yeah. I mean, they've got two. Again, there's an example where they've got 2 cards in stock. 4090. Here you go. I mean, the Gaming OC for 300. All their stores have got it. So there you go. You know, but very, very expensive cards. You know, they're just silly expensive.
Yeah.
So enough about. But yeah, so the actual official launch of the like when you can actually buy the graphics cards from Nvidia is not till December. But I think that's their goal is to try and make sure that they've got enough before the I guess the Christmas holidays.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, mate. Next one is your favourite topic. Crypto stocks.
And it's tanking.
It is in free fall, my friend.
Yes. I
Abs-
actually bought some Ethereum today, and I saw it at its sale price.
you think this is as low as it's going to get, or do you think it could
No,
go?
no, I like the price, but it could get lower. Like I've seen a lot of things like Gary Vee saying he can't wait for it to collapse and it gets to like gets 10 cents to the dollar,
Who's
and then
this?
Gary Vee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he said he can't wait for that because then this is what happened when the internet stocks happen. And this is when he bought in and when he makes rich. So he can't wait for that to happen because the best five projects that recover out of that is he's going to go heavily into, and hopefully it'll make him rich.
Oh, look, not that he's not already rich, but
Yeah, that's true.
but yeah, yeah. Look, it's a gamble. I am a believer that crypto is not going anywhere.
Yep.
I just think regulation will come in at some point,
Yes,
which
I
will
reckon it will
stop
too. And then
these to try and prevent these massively wild swings that we're seeing. I mean, it's up 8.8% today, according to this
yep.
Ethereum. And what about Bitcoin?
I think it was down to
Uh,
26,000, and on USD it was down to I think in USD it's like 16,000 or something,
yeah,
isn't
so
it?
it's down at 25,000 in Australia,
Yep.
25,000, but it went up 5% today.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, so it'll, for a user, we signed a non binding letter of interest. So Bionicle was meant to, I think, who's FTX?
Uh,
I've read a lot about them.
they're like an exchange as well, like CoinSpot, like
Right.
Binance. Yeah,
Yep. FTX token FTT heads towards zero after liquidity crisis botched Bionicle deal. Yeah, so Bionicle apparently. Oh, this is the Spy Bionicle bailout.
yeah,
Well,
because they were gonna bail them out and buy it and like merge, but then they pulled out.
that's right. Yeah, I was going to say they did a non-binding intent, and yeah, but there's been a lot happening. I mean, when you're talking about crypto and metaverses and stuff, only today there was a story I read about our good mate Mr. Zuckerberg, who's
Yep.
basically just sacked a ton of people. He's going to lay off a ton of people. I
Well,
think
just
it's
like Elon Musk bought Twitter and stripped it 50% and is planning to go stripping it 75%.
yeah. I think he's going to slow down a bit because I think
Yeah,
he's realised he can't quite go as far as he wants to go yet. And it was funny because Jim Backyardis was on Twitter going, what an idiot. Like because he's launched, like Elon came out and said, hey, just strap in. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that either works or it doesn't work, and it's going to be broken, and we're going to have to fix it, and we're going to make lots of mistakes in the next in the next little while. And Jim's response was like, well, maybe just do some system testing, mate, before you put shit live. And I'm like, you know what? Absolutely agree with you, but this is why this man is who he is. He does stuff like that where he'll try this. Oh, that broke. That didn't work. Oh, okay. I'll try something different. I'll try this. I'll try that. And just keeps trying until he finds something that works properly or
yep.
works well. And I mean, I don't delude myself or hero worship Elon Musk into thinking he's an amazing human being and he's going to save the human race. He's not. He's a billionaire, and you have to be a certain type of person to do that. But what I do admire Elon about is the fact that when he got into EVs, all the car companies laughed at him. They're all now playing catch up
Yep.
to him with EVs. They are. Even Nissan. Nissan dropped the ball big time on that. Like we were miles ahead. Nissan was miles ahead in that era, in that space, and then just suddenly the accountants got a hold of it all. And I listened to a really interesting podcast about Nissan and EVs by a guy called Andy Palmer, who was basically the 2IC of Nissan globally, with the some say nefarious and infamous Carlos Ghosn.
Yep.
And he talked about that basically what killed it was the accountants at Nissan, where they dropped $4 billion on developing the car and then didn't want to invest any more money in it. And yep, they were a bit ahead of their time, but they would have actually been way ahead of Elon Musk, because they all come out at the same time. They would have been actually miles ahead from a mass production perspective, and instead they're back in the pack with everyone else really fighting for EV sales. But so it's interesting times in the crypto stock. So Eggy, you've doubled down, brother.
Yeah, I doubled down. Put a bit more in.
Well,
Hopefully, I just add a bit there every week, and then we'll see how we go in a couple of years' time.
I was going to say, so the Stingray dogs are still
Yeah, we're
negative
not.
geared, shall we
Yeah,
say?
negative gear. I'm actually thinking about ideas on how to change that a bit. See if we can look into some other things there.
Look, I think you're right. I think, if we all maybe put a bit of money towards maybe buying some of these, these Bitcoins, which are, look, obviously we're not going to buy Bitcoin, but, ETH and Solano and just...
Yeah. Well, yes, Solana's half the price now, $10 to $20 or $23 or something.
Yeah.
Was it 50 last week?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, there's a couple of those coins I think that can present some good value.
Yeah.
Whether that works out, it's like those NFTs. We thought we were going to be okay, and just really, I mean, I don't even know where Z Racing is these days and how it's going, or like...
It's still going. Oh, hold on, babe. She's raiding with a party of 4. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, is she rating you? Is she?
She is.
Oh,
It's been a
hey.
while, hold on, babe.
Oh, it
Didn't
has
know you
been.
didn't know you've been streaming.
No,
What have you been playing?
I
I'll
know.
have to come by and watch it. And is it you playing or is it the kids playing?
Yes, but I was going to say we will. Yeah. So
I think the NFT horses. We had a few races the other day. And we're looking at prices and that. And I think they were down to $4 a horse. Probably less now. Yeah, it's probably worth about $3 a horse now that the price has tanked.
far out. Wow. Because was it Benry who sold a couple and made a bit of a mozza on them? Like, not a mozza, but I mean, he made a fair crack of money on them.
Oh, I don't think he made on the horses. He made on like crypto kitties or
Oh,
something
okay.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was at the height of that whole
Holden
NFT
Bays have been
craze.
playing Modern Warfare 2. We
Oh,
are good.
we,
We haven't pulled the trigger yet and bought the game.
I'm
We've been
close. I'm very,
boycott.
I'm very close. Very close. Speaking of which, we might as well move on, mate. Onto that topic, because I think that's the next one I had on my list. Yes, it is. What are you playing?
Nothing at the moment.
Nothing really?
Nah, I haven't played anything for the last week or two.
Wow.
Yeah. I gave that Pokemon, can't remember what it's called now, Pokemon something or other a go. Pokemon Planet. That was
Ah,
alright. It's real grind though. It's real it's a real grinding game. You
mm,
gotta level up your Pokemon and level yourself up and
yeah. Well, that's the problem
uh,
with those ones is they
yeah.
are a grind. Yep. Yep. And no Fortnite or anything with the rest of the boys, or.
I think I jumped on with Benry last week for a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
Old Babe says she loves it, but not everyone does. I dropped 35 kills with the burst rifle, something I've never used before. That's good.
Yeah. Look, it's really interesting. I don't know whether you've ever watched a guy called Angry Joe.
No.
There's some really good content in the sense of very entertaining and reviews lots of video games and does
Yep.
a lot of video game news and stuff like that. And mate, he's brutal. Like, I think when Madden came out, no, Battlefield 2042 came out. He was pretty angry. Like, he was a massive Battlefield fan, and just was just I think just heartbroken at how
Yeah.
terrible it was at launch, and also here I watched a review on Saints Row, the reboot. Now I remember the original game. I think I played Saints Row 2 or 3,
Yep.
and that was fun. It was just stupid fun, politically incorrect, stupid fun. And he reviewed the reboot, and oh my, buggy as all f, terrible gameplay, tore it to shreds. Like spent a 30-minute video just tearing it apart, and like one or two redeeming factors. Did one on COD, on Modern Warfare, and went, you know what? It's not perfect. It crashes. It's got, the progression system to get different guns. You know, how you're forced to use, all these different guns so you can unlock the gun you want to use. Guys, is a bit janky, and the UI in the game is really, like, you don't, like someone was saying, you don't anymore have like your stats, like your battle, like your KD or anything like that.
Oh.
Yeah, like how you used to be able to look up your stats and how
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
kills you'd had and what achievements you had. None of that's apparently in there. Now, obviously they'll fix that, but
Yeah.
of all the things you're going to whinge about, if that's the worst you're going to whinge about.
Well,
But
I heard the new Warzone's coming out in the next week, I think, and apparently you'll be able to go in and you log in and they give you highlight reels of your last year or something.
well, yeah, my last year of not playing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I haven't played Warzone for a while. I keep
Oh
updating it though. I'm hoping someone will play it.
no, I couldn't do it. I loved multiplayer. Hated Warzone.
Yeah.
I just it's I because one or two things happened. Either you ran around the map, looted up, and died at the first team, or you ran around, looted up, waited, and died at the first team, or you ran through and you got res 3 times by your mates because every time you ran into a team, you got killed.
Yeah.
I remember when I've played Warzone, I'm like, oh my god, I just got my first kill. I probably have about 5 kills in Warzone.
Yes.
Bugger all. But one of the things I did know, but the new Modern Warfare, I just, what made me go, yeah, I'll probably end up getting it, is where he spoke about the gun mechanics and how they felt. It wasn't like you were shooting and he really described it well. It wasn't like you felt like you were shooting a P gun. It doesn't feel arcadey,
Yeah.
which is what I think Vanguard and, well, I think
Cold
Vanguard's
War. Yeah. Well, I
Cold
think
War definitely was, and Vanguard, from what I saw, just the mechanics were shit. They were they were a terrible mishmash between Modern Warfare and Cold War. And
I think that
yeah.
they were older style guns as well too. They were like,
Yeah, like you're talking about one-shot rifles, bolt-action rifle, whatever. So anyway, they reckon, yeah, the new, like I was watching the footage and I'm like, those guns look really good. So yeah, I think, yeah, when's payday?
today, now.
Yeah, no, it's another couple of days away, but it's on the weekend, so probably tomorrow. I reckon I'll end up just biting the bullet and
Yep.
just tell them what. But she's not going to care. It's a computer game. But yeah, the other one I have been playing through though, I did finish Far Cry 6.
Yep.
Very good story. Bit grindy, bit repetitive, but that's Far Cry games. You kind of do the same thing over. Go to this location, kill the bad guys, collect what you got to collect to progress the story. But why I don't mind those type of like I don't mind that mechanic. I don't care about that mechanic. Is because I then buy into as long as I buy into the story. With single player, that's the most important thing, and I have now started to grind, just sort of work my way through God of War.
Yep.
It's so pretty and just such good voice acting, great story. The dynamic between Kratos and his son and the other characters within the story. It's Noi. I watched last night on Twitch. He
Yep.
was playing the new Ragnarok,
Oh,
God of
yeah.
War Ragnarok, and that looked like, I saw bits and pieces, and I'm like, this looks sick. I'm like, damn it, come on, PlayStation, release it on PC. But yeah, they're probably not going to do that for at least minimum 12 months. But I've got a funny feeling Microsoft might start putting some pressure on them
Yeah.
because of the fact is, I think they're going to probably be told, mate, if you want the next COD to be, on PlayStation at all, you need to make sure. But the only concern I've got is at some point Microsoft will put it on Game Pass.
Yeah, they're talking about it, but I think PlayStation's still got a deal for another 2 years or something.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh well, I'm not going to wait 2 years,
Yeah.
but I reckon the next COD, next sort of, I think, yeah, next couple of
Well, I think
CODs, yeah,
I don't know if it's this one or the next one. They're starting to bring it out every 2 years instead of out every year.
and that's good. That's what they
Yeah.
should do. I think
Yeah.
this is the problem: is some of these developers are just reskinning some of these games, taking some feedback on board about what was shit about the last one and what was good about it, and trying to make it a little bit better. But yeah, like, I don't think that's the right way to go. I don't think that's the right way to go. So the good thing is Activision, like my mate was adamant, massive Battlefield fan. Nah, they saw what happened with Vanguard. There's no way DICE is gonna muck it up like they've had 3-4 years. They've had longer than COD. You watch Battlefield 2042 is going to be amazing. Pre-ordered it. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. And I never bought the game. And now I think you can play it on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have no interest. The maps are really flat. It's really easy to die. It just, yeah, it's not, yeah, I don't know. It just didn't look fun to me. And that was the one thing that from the review from Angry Joe that I got was he said, I can't believe COD has made a Battlefield style game better than Battlefield. What the hell's going on? Like he said, the elements that you see in Battlefield, like the tanks and like he said, like, at launch, that was the one thing I have to admit, like I was like, fuck, $110 for a game, man. That's a lot of money. But that was the one thing he did speak about a lot. He said, look, this is how many maps. You've got 15 maps. You've got all these modes. There's more modes coming out like every couple of weeks. You got all these weapons. Like I think it was like 50. I think there's 50 guns, 60 guns, something like that. And all these other different attachments. And like he was like, yeah. And this is a guy, mate, where if a game's a turd, he will call it out. He doesn't care. But yeah, like it wasn't. But he came out and like said, still pointed out there was some crap stuff with it. But he said, it's launched way, way better than Battlefield 22 did.
Yep.
So it's nice to see. Overwatch 2 is another one that's come out. I don't know. Did you ever play Overwatch?
No, I didn't.
I played the original. Yeah, look, it's very the frustration levels can be very similar to COD.
Yeah.
And Warzone and stuff like that. But I have to admit I played a lot of it on PlayStation when it was out in the day, PlayStation 4. I don't think I would be. Yeah, I think I'd struggle on PC. I think I've got the original Overwatch on PC. So, I don't know. But Overwatch 2, look, I've seen some of this gameplay. It's insane, man. Like, I look at it and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. That's right. If you had really high skill, a really high skill level, you played a Genji or a Hanzo or a healer, like, and some of these people are just insanely good. Me, I used to my favourite was just getting Bastion, who was like a robot and then turned into a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
And you just try and sit in a corner somewhere with a Mercy just healing you from behind. and you just take out everyone who's just trying to come on your point.
And that's another thing too. Like Overwatch is free, but like Call of Duty is like $100 for the game. That's like there's so many free games out now with in-app purchases. Whereas that one, you got to pay for the game, then just still buy skins and that on the game as well, or buy COD points. See, I feel like they're double dipping.
This is where, look, I'm probably a little bit different of a view on it. Considering what they offer as a base level, so let's look at what you get for $110. You get all those different modes. You get access to the guns you can rank up. You get, you're gonna get Modern Warfare. You're gonna get Warzone 2. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think paying for that, and it works well. And yes, it's a bit buggy, but it's not certainly the hot mess that something like 24, Battlefield was. Um,
Yeah, but I hear that's
playable.
really good now. I hear that's really good now.
Yeah. What my mate said, look, it's massively better, but it's like that one of those too little, too lates. Like
Yeah,
Anthem, like when Anthem come out, and like by the end Fallout 76 actually is a much better example. Like Fallout 76 when it came out was just a buggy, absolute, unadulterated freaking mess. And by the end, people said, like these days, people say, oh, such a shame because you now jump on that game and it actually runs really well, and it's actually a really interesting game to play on there. But I think and the other thing I think that's coming onto Warzone that's going to be really interesting because it's really ambitious is that DMZ type, like Tarkov type game
yeah.
mode. So it will be very interesting to see how that goes. And that's why I don't I think we've been spoiled with. I think Fortnite spoiled everyone. That was the thing. Because what you get for free, if you wanted to play Fortnite, you could play it at competitive level and never spend a cent on it. Couldn't you? Like, it's all cosmetic, it's all
Yeah,
skins.
yeah,
And it's the same with, like, I know you're saying, oh, if you want certain skins in COD, you've got to pay for them with COD points and all. But that's if you want to. There's
yeah.
absolutely zero obligation to do it.
Yeah. That's what I like about Fortnite. Like for kids to get on and play it, they can just play it to join in with their friends, and then when they finally get into the game, they decide they start asking mum and dad to pay for skins and that. And they're always bringing out new ones every day and every week. They like every second month they got a new deal with like Marvel or Dragon Ball Z or some anime characters and
And look, COD did that with Vanguard. You had Rambo and Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, and there was a couple that came out. Like even COD does some good skins. But yeah, I think I have no issues with skins. I have issues with loot boxes.
yeah,
That I have issues with. And thankfully, I think the threat by governments globally going, that's gambling. We're going to make you only sell it to kids over 18. I think put the brakes on those loot boxes because they were very lucrative. And I think, but, when you could spend 50, let's say $100 on loot boxes and get just absolute shit out of them, like, oh, it's a new skin. And I think, did you ever play World of Warships?
no, I haven't seen it there in like the Steam store and like in game stores and that, but
Yeah. I mean, that's free to play.
yeah,
And it's not a bad game. I've played it a couple of times. It's actually, it's actually, I reckon you would actually quite enjoy it because it's strategy. It's about, shooting your opponents using the map to sort of get cover so you don't get yourself killed, and
Oh
sort
yeah.
of rank the ships up and build them up. And but but in saying that, if you play the free version only, good luck with that. Like even like people who have like played it, like I think Tech Deals was really massively into it, and even he came out and said, like he did a couple of videos where he said, look, I've been given all this stuff for free from these people. Let's see what I get out of it, and you now will have an idea what you would get out of it if you paid for this stuff. And he like went through what the values of everything was, like if you bought those boxes and all that, and it was something like $5,000 worth of stuff, like in real money.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, it's a flag. Oh, it's a flare. Oh, it's a skin. What the hell? Like he went through and found he got very few like top tier ships. Like that you'd go like, like an aircraft carrier, or a like full on battle cruiser, or like some cool ship from history, that shipping buffs would be into. And yeah, so anyway, but yes, I don't know about you, mate. You sort of a bit hesitant to pull the trigger on Warfare until you know what's going on with.
Yeah, a little
Sorry,
bit.
with
It's
COD.
just, yeah, just a little bit. Like I don't want to jump on it, and then everyone sort of jumps off it, and I was like, just spend $100 for nothing. That's what it was sort of like with Valheim. Like I bought Valheim, and then we played it for like a week, and that was it.
Oh no, we gave that a good crack for probably no a couple of months because I played for that server.
Yeah. Well,
$10.
I jumped on it like, so I thought it was going to be one of those games where you should just jump on and play it for a bit and then jump off again. So I was like, I won't do it. And I said, if they play it for 4 weeks, I'll do it. And then you just played it for 4 weeks. All right, I'm joining now. And then yeah, everyone sort of started dropping off.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing with some of those games is you play them for a while, and I liked Valheim, but it was like Splitgate was the same.
Yeah,
It was a cool game. I liked it, and we all just jumped off. Like we played it, and then everyone just jumped off it. And that's the thing. Yeah, you know what, Iggy, you've probably hit. I'm probably a little bit more happy to play that because I do have a couple of friends at work who they played like a lot of the previous COD.
yeah.
Like they didn't hop off it, even though it was ordinary and whatever. They played a lot of the previous COD, and now they're flat out and like every day. One of the guys at work is going, "When are you getting it?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll probably get it tonight." So tomorrow I'll go, "Okay, I'll get it on the weekend." Well, I was just waiting to get paid. All right, So yeah, I think, yeah, I've just wanted, yeah, I'm the same, man. I don't want to pay that money. I don't think the campaign's that long
Yeah.
in COD, but the last campaign in COD in Modern Warfare, oh my god, I love that campaign. And like when it finished, I was like, oh, come on, a bit more. Come on, give me a bit more story, you know. But obviously they stopped the campaign. They deliberately do that because the idea is then they do seasons in the game, and
Yeah.
and it continues the story in it. So yeah, I looks like I mean, I reckon the guy who plays Captain Price is just, but he's a professional actor. Like
Yeah.
he's a proper actor. Like he's done some decent stuff on TV. What's his name? Captain Price actor. Yep, there he is. Here we go, Captain Price. Oh yeah, there he is in Modern Warfare. Barry Sloane. Billy Murray in Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Barry Sloane, Modern Warfare 2000 and... Who's Barry Sloane? Is that the actor? Yes, yes, it is. Yes, so it's Barry Sloane. Yeah, is the actor. And
Yeah.
if you take a look at Barry Sloane's, sort of credits, he hasn't done a lot. He's done quite a bit of television, not a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Um, the Mark of Cain, yeah, he isn't. But yeah, he's done. What's anything? I'm just looking through the list here. He was on LA's Finest. Levenko. Yeah, look, he's done probably a little bit more. Oh yeah, Revenge. He was on Revenge.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. I was like, fuck, where I know him from? That's what it was. I remember watching
That's
Revenge.
oh, I never.
I was on Shameless too. I was only
Yes,
on for two
yeah. I
episodes.
don't think he was on for very long. Oh, so he trained under Emily with Takeda. Oh, is that how I knew I'd seen his face somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's what. Yeah, as soon as you said Revenge, I was like, "Oh, I know who it is now."
Yeah, 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 yeah. He's obviously just he's just a little bit older
Yeah,
now, so he's a little bit harder to sort of
he had
yeah,
like the English accent or something.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I mean, he's yeah, but like I said, clearly he's a legitimate actor, so hence why, and I think he's really like Henry Cavill we did with The Witcher. I think he really has kind of taken that role to heart and gone, and you know what? He's not silly. He could do this the rest of his life. Go to
Yep.
Comic Cons, make appearances, go to game events, and
Yeah.
mate, he will make a fortune. Now,
Yep.
obviously, that's on the basis that Activision lets him keep doing that. But they can't stop him from doing that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the Witcher was Superman until I watched Enola Holmes 2 the other day when that came out. I watched that with the girls. Um,
Mm.
because it's got 11 in it from Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's yeah
yeah, yeah,
we watched it and I was like, oh, that's Superman. I was like, wait on, he looks like the Witcher. And then I was like, he is the Witcher.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, like he,
I didn't recognize him with the makeup and that,
oh,
but it
oh,
was Superman.
well, he's a massive Witcher fan.
Yep.
Like he nearly missed out on the role of Superman because he was on a raid for, I think it might have been The Witcher. Oh, it was one of those games.
Yep.
It was a computer game that he was playing, and he said, "Oh, mate, I missed Zack Snyder's call because I was playing a computer game." I'm like, "Jeez." But the funniest story he tells is, um, no, oh, tell us what some, um, tell us what some of your family do. I think, or it was like show and tell, and his little nephew goes, "Oh, my uncle's Superman," and teacher goes, "Now, listen, Superman's not real, and you shouldn't tell lies like that. Your uncle's not Superman." And but he was insistent, absolutely insistent, that his uncle was Superman, and he said so. After school, the teacher pulls him up and goes, "Look, blah blah blah." He's kind of telling all the kids and very insistent his uncle's Superman. And my sister goes, "Funny story." It's my brother, and my brother is Henry Cavill, and he's Superman. And the teacher's just like, "Oh, okay." And apparently one day, dressed up in the suit and took his nephew to school to show the kids, my uncle is Superman. So, really, this. I think Barry Sloane, who plays Captain Price, I think is in a similar vein. Like, you know, he realizes he's on a good wicket, and he knows he can, that can pay off his mortgage and put food on the table. Is not
Yeah.
silly for that. But brother, let me just have a look. That's about it, mate. Have you been checking out Marketplace at all just to see what's happening up?
No, I haven't actually. I should be doing it. Should be having a
Yeah.
look, see what's out there. I did what I see. I saw a Ryzen 7 3700X for $200. I was like, geez, that's pretty cheap. I was like, you can get a brand new, save $100, you can get a brand new 5700 for that much.
Yeah, like yeah, there you go. And that's the thing. I think yeah. Look, I think it's a great time. Like if you want to do a used PC, you know, like if you know someone who's on a really tight budget and they go, oh look, I've only got $1,000
Yeah, jeez.
for a used PC market, mate, you could put
Yeah,
together like a
2070 maybe.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, easy 2070. Put a yeah,
You can almost buy,
3700 or even
yeah.
I reckon even a 5600.
You could almost buy like a like a 3100 like a PC setup and just pull out the chip and put a new chip in there. Like you could probably get like for about $350, you can get like an RX 580 PC with like 16 gig of RAM and like
Mm,
a Ryzen 5 3600 or not, probably like a Ryzen 3 more like a 3100 or something like that.
mm.
You could probably find a piece like that with a 50 and just pull out the chip, then put a new one in, and pull out the
Graphics card.
yeah, and replace it.
Yeah, yeah, and just sell them off. Like
Yep.
for 100, even if you, like you said, if it's a $500 PC, you go and I don't know. But even RAM, man, like I don't know whether you've looked at RAM lately. 16 gig of RAM, like you're talking like it's as low as like almost getting close to $100,
Yep.
like for DDR4 and I've kept an eye on DDR5 RAM, and DDR5 RAM's starting to come down. Like I've had a look at 64 gigs of DDR5 RAM, and it was really interesting. Hardware Unbox did a comparison of the difference in sort of usage when you were like using different speeds of RAM,
Yep.
and I think with 13th gen it was a little bit more pronounced, but I think like Hardware Unbox got like 16 gig of like just the cheapest DDR5 RAM you could buy on the market, and then they sort of went, which was I think 4200, 5200, and 6000, and 6400, and sort of as they went up, like even as they went up the stack, like I was saying for gaming, it was just it made very little difference. Like you're talking, maybe 10 frames, 10 frames. I mean, if you're paying competitive gaming, you'd invest in it. But
Yep.
for you and me and 99% of the people, mere mortals on the planet, like and that's what I've looked at. Like 64. What was it? I've saved it. I'll tell you in a minute. Where are we? Amazon. Shopping list.
Ba, ba,
Yeah.
ba, ba, ba.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Actually, this is actually really nice RAM, and I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, I did pick up a Corsair Virtuoso headset the other day. $200.
Oh,
$199 on Amazon. So the Virtuoso is a little bit better than the HS80 I've got here that I'm using now.
yep.
But yeah, this might make its way to Gabe's desk, and that one will just sit on my desk, and I'll go, he'll go, huh, Dad, why is this wireless? And I'm like, hey, don't tell your mum. And then we both don't get in trouble. Shut up. He'll be like, okay, ask no questions. Mum doesn't ask, don't have to say anything, mate. But so anyway, but yeah, so but going back to the DDR5 RAM, so 64 gig of RAM. This is overkill for everyone. This is me. I like my 64 gig. I've tried 32. Wasn't a fan. But Corsair got
That's what I was like, now that I've got 32, I don't reckon I can go back to 16.
no, it's amazing. It is it. People say, oh, there's no difference. Bullshit. There's no difference. 16's plenty. 16's plenty. But once you've used 32 or 64, you notice the difference. You genuinely like, you'll click on something and it's not, and this is where I go back to what tech deals used to always say. I can't show you in a chart. I can just tell you how it feels after you use it for a while. And so anyway, the DDR5 was Corsair Dominator Plats, which are pretty sweet RAM, 5200 at 568, and they haven't moved up or down. But G-Skill have 5600s for 574, and they just dropped 8%. They went from 624 to 574, so they almost, so they've dropped a bit of money.
Yeah.
So that I think for me, like, definitely my Intel system, I can't game and stream on it. I'll probably end up going to... The only thing that irritates me about Intel is, when you buy the Z790 board, you can't put anything besides a 12th or 13th gen chip in it. Whereas, if you go, like, if I went and spent the money and said, so apples with apples, if I got a $500 Z790 board and a $500 X670E board, I potentially have the next 3 to 5 years with that X670 board, and I can go from a 7900X to a 8900X to a 9900X, and potentially maybe a 10900X when AMD gets to that.
Yeah.
But I've at least got 3 generations. So I can put a 7900X in it today, skip the next generation, and then get that last generation if I want. Like, for instance, at the moment, like someone like you, who's got that B450 board, you can go from your 3600, go and whack a 5700X in there, and it's like, engage warp speed, Mr. Zulu, off we go. And you just have to change the chip. You don't have to pull the whole system apart. You don't have to get a new motherboard. You don't have to get new RAM. Nothing. You just put the chip in, make sure it's got the latest BIOS before you do it. And I think that board's got BIOS flashback anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does too.
Whereas with Intel, you go, great, I can pay $500 for the board, but that's it. I better be happy to keep that board for the next couple of years. And if I want to go into, so skip the next generation, so skip 14th and go to 15th, I then have to go to the new platform again. And that's what irks, because I honestly thought AMD was going to follow Intel in that. They were going to go, no, look, last time it was too hard, it got complicated. Just technology advances too quickly. Like, they were going to come up with a whole bunch of, what they would have thought reasonable excuses to say, AMD to say, nah, we're only going to do what Intel does, and that's 2 generation of chips, and then we're going to change the chip, the chip set, and then, you're buying your motherboard. But they didn't. And Intel, I think, was expecting, that's exactly what I think Intel was expecting. And I think now Intel's now got its bloody, like, it's been caught with its pants down again, where, yes, their chips are faster and, like, in certain, like, it's toe-to-toe, depending on use case scenario. Like, you could not go wrong. The only reason you'd buy Intel at the moment is it's cheaper. So, anyway, but, I've been watching a bit of Tech Yes City, and he's been talking, 13600, they reckon the 13600K is a really, really, really good gaming chip. Oh. Like, you don't, like, the 13900 is stupid hot. I reckon the 13700's not much better. but they reckon the difference in performance between 13600 to 13700 is not that big. So from the i7 to the i5, and I think that's the thing with Intel, the mid-range stuff I think is where they're really presenting some good value.
Yeah.
But anyway, brother, I have nothing else. What about you?
Nah, that was everything for me. Nose is getting a bit runny, my eyes are getting a bit watery. I think I'm ready to
Go and take a go and take a towel
Eddie.
fast and go to
No,
sleep.
I had two of them before, and I was hoping to. Well, it's been probably 4 hours now since I've had it. I was hoping I would have done something, but nah.
Really?
Seems,
Yeah, two of
yeah,
them, and they've done
yeah,
nothing.
no,
Ah, brother, I hate to tell you, I think that's down to the GP, and
yeah.
here's
Get some
your
bigger
needle.
ones. I said,
Well, I think they can give you like a needle now. I know
oh,
Amelia had a friend of hers who had like, I whinge about mine, but hers was horrendous. Like
well,
I,
mine's never seemed to be this bad. Like I have a couple, then I'll be fine. But this one, yeah, I've showered and
hmm,
yeah, tried pop
uh,
two and
no, she would take Telfast like lollies and just like so, like it. And actually, she would just go. Oh, she gave up. She was like she tried Telfast, all the different ones, and finally went to the doctor. And the doctor was like, mate, that's like throwing a bucket of water on a burning building. It's just not going to work. So she started getting a needle every year, which introduced the pollen into her bloodstream
yeah,
and built up a natural immunity. And I remember last time I spoke to her, she said she now doesn't take anything. If it's really bad, she might have a Telfast and it'll work.
yeah.
But she was saying, but most of the time it's not that bad. Ooh, Eggy, let me show you something
Ooh,
before we go. That is actually very good value, $2.99. That is a sound card
yeah.
with a DAC.
Ooh,
It's a Sound Blaster card. So, and
yeah.
I have got the much, much lower version of this card. There is a, you know what? There's a part of me that wants to wait for Black Friday,
Yeah,
but
that's
but
what my wife said. I said, she goes, "You want any clothes for this Click Frenzy?" I said, "No, I might wait till Black Friday."
so it's interesting because I'm pretty sure last year with Black Friday was a nothing burger, and I remember there was a couple instances where before Black Friday I went like after Black Friday happened, I went or Black Friday happened, and I remember seeing a couple of things and going, "Fucking hold on, that was cheaper before Black Friday." Like, what the hell's that all about? So I'm kind of a little bit in like that Corsair headset. I reckon no one knows it's going to be that cheap come Black Friday.
Yeah,
And I think some of these companies are starting to put stuff like Amazon are starting to put stuff out a little bit early because they know once that Black Friday happens, it's just a massive competition.
yeah,
The other thing I've also noticed as well is really they need to rename Black Friday sales to shit we can't get rid of sales.
yeah.
Because that's what 99.9% of them are, is shit we cannot get rid of sales. So anyway, all right, brother. Well, you go and have a sleep. Maybe a sleep might help. Oh, this is the
Yeah.
one I've got. This is the one, and I can tell you now I didn't pay this much for it. I think I paid $100 for mine, but that's actually a really good. That's a really good card. Um, yeah. Oh, actually, no, it's this one because I got the Beam microphone like that little Beam microphone. It's in a box somewhere,
Yeah.
and obviously they're not selling it with that anymore. But yeah, it's what is it? Yeah, so it's got 116 decibel. Look, let me tell you, like you put like on that other PC where the card is, I can put that on, and if I put it on, when we're playing Fortnite, it's on about 12, 15.
Yep.
That's all I need. Any louder than that, like once you get to 20 and start climbing from there, it gets really uncomfortable on you. Like it's uncomfortably loud.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway. All right, brother.
All right.
You
Thanks
have,
everyone for stopping by.
yeah, thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Hopefully we told you some interesting things, made you laugh a little bit, and we'll see you all next time.
Next time.